Bride price is used to validate customary marriages. It is a common practice in many African societies. Typically, bride price consists of contract where material items or money are paid by the groom to the bride's family in exchange for the bride for the labor and the capacity to produce children. In rural times, though, varying by ethnic and tribal groups, tradition and culture, more traditional bride price practices remain traditionally common and tend to be accepted as cultural norm. In the past, tradition of bride price is believed to have operated beneficially to give formal recognition to marriages and protect wives against abuse, stabilize the partnership, and to join the two families together. Today, however, the practice appears to have become commercialized and to have lost much of its traditional values in many instances. Bride price can now appear to be buying of a wife as a commodity, which resorts to abuse of women if she does not fulfill a value or she attempts to leave. The bride price cannot be repaid. Domestic violence, abuse of women's rights, poverty among newly married couples, divorces, and so on have been found to be associated with high bride price. These have serious implications on the stability of families, especially newly married couples. Paying the bride price is an appropriate thing for any responsible man intending to marry a woman in Nigeria. It is a customary tradition and as such is required for any marriage. Nonetheless, some tribes and families perceive this as a way to generate money. Therefore, they provide the groom-to-be with a lengthy note bride price list. The Yoruba tribe places a high significance on their children's marriage. In this way, they acknowledge that the worth of their daughters or wives exceeds the value of money. The bride price ranges from 5,000 to 20,000 naira in this case. The Hausa Muslim tribe has without a doubt the least expensive bride price in Nigeria. The bride price, often called sadaki, is almost unbelievably inexpensive, which is 40 kg of gold piece to the highest amount the groom can afford. The Tiv and ethnic community in Benue State establishes a rule that any marriage rights charges as well as the bride price should not surpass 100,000 naira. Despite institutional and individual effort at reducing the cost of traditional marriage rights in some part of the southeast geopolitical zone, especially Imo State, to foster timely young women and youth of marriageable age in the region, desired result has become a mirage thanks to greedy kinsmen and parents who see marriage as transaction instead of cultural relationship between families involved. The Igbo tribe have the most expensive bride price, while Plateau State is among the cheapest. Finally, it is often argued that the practice may have negative effects for girls and women because it may incentivize early marriage and lead to higher fertility, promotes the view that husbands have purchased their wives, resulting in worse treatment of wives and trap women in unhappy marriages due to the common requirement that some of the bride price be paid back upon divorce. Ladies, bride price was never meant to enrich your parents and your uncles who don't even know your birthday. If you don't speak up for your man, you will enter marriage full of loans and debt caused by your own family. Fight for your marriage. That causes divorce and a very unhealthy home with an unhappy marriage.
Welcome back. The topic today is the constant hike in bride price. I'm from Cross River State, and I know that my sisters in Akwa Ibom, they can actually, and for those people that have married the Cross River Akwa Ibom tribe, you can actually understand when we are talking about the hiking bride price. Let's not even go to the east. The east they'll say is the yams, but truly, if you want to talk about where bride price is really intense and very intentional, they don't joke with it even to the pin. Is the Akwa Ibom mines, my Calabar Akwa Ibom. Okay, to help us with this conversation, we have our guest. I traveled all the way down, bed, made phone call, appeased the gods to actually bring him because it's been a while he came as a guest. So
That's
it was serious. I said, let's start this by appealing to all. Let's just beg. So we've done all the traditional rites. So he's here with us
finally.
Now. Finally,
we have appeased
the gods. So we have Lawrence Otiara. He's a businessman, a public speaker, and a relationship expert. Finally, like the producer will say, He is here. Boom, 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 boom. Welcome.
Thank you.
So let me clap for you again.
Thank you, Joy.
Yoruba people will say, Amara Lincoln.
Well,
do you understand that?
I'm struggling with that.
Okay.
Maybe you did take
How,
that.
how is everyone at home?
Well, they're all good. They're all good. Yeah. It's good to be back. This is my first appearance for the year.
Yeah, first appearance for the year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody.
Very interesting.
Of course, Lawrence is not a new person on Family and Values. He's always been here, but for a while he took a break for personal reasons. Just decided to take his own personal break. So we are glad to have
it's
him.
good sometimes. It's
Yeah. Okay. Today, I'm sure when I sent the topic to you, you were laughing because
I did.
you just be saying, "This girl wants to put me on that one hot seat like this."
I did.
Okay, what could be responsible for the constant? You know, every time I saw something last week online, the guy came on social media and brought out the list they gave him. The items alone is 1.5 million, aside the money that was to come with it. And he was now asking, why are they doing this? Where do I start from? How am I going to raise the money? And people are like, if you love the girl, you will do this. Why do we have constant hike in bride price? It's not fixed. The same community, next week they'll say community list, this one list. Why do we have all of that?
Well, Joy, like you said, and even from the clip, I think it kind of summarizes everything. The clip is so comprehensive.
Thank you for that.
It talks about, because so many things I have in mind, those are the things that
I've already
you understand. So when you talk of one of the main reasons is either greedy parents or kinsmen of the bride, and or both.
Okay.
It could be maybe parents are greedy, or kinsmen are greedy, or both the kinsmen and the parents combined together. So imagine such a combination. You are, as a potential groom, you are in trouble.
Big one.
If there is no one there to
save you,
stand as a bulwark, kind of a protecting force from all those attacks, definitely you bride price you pay through the roof. But as far as I'm concerned, like you said in the clip, it's just part of our custom, our culture to validate marriage. That was the essence, but it's being abused over time because of these reasons that we talked about. People no longer look at it like a means of fostering relationship between different cultures, bringing people, a Yoruba man getting married to someone, a lady from the north, or someone from the north marrying someone from the south or east. That's the essence of people coming together. So the bride price shouldn't be something that beyond the reach of the ordinary man, because that in the long run will leave so many ladies from there actually stranded. So I think when people hide under tradition, tradition should be flexible when it comes to certain things. It's not cast in stone. Even the 10 commandments that God carved via Moses in stone, people violate it with ease. So why are we so hell-bent on tradition that is made by mere mortals? Humans just sat somewhere because of their personal interest, they agreed, they feel it's a transaction. Instead of, just like you said in the clip, it should be fostering relationship between different cultures. But now they look at it like a transaction. So every opportunity where a young lady, a potential bride, have suitors, they want to milk what they can get, make a communal arrangement instead of being just personal family arrangement. So they really have a lot to do because
they have a lot.
They have a lot to do. They need to change so many things. People will tell you the economy. I now said, for instance, now see dollar to naira. How does that affect bride price?
I think let's take it from this side. You know, the landlords also tell everything is expensive. This is the house they have built 5, 10, 15 years
ago. 30 years
so
ago.
They will tell you everywhere. So
yes.
I think that maybe that is why. But to go to my own question now, do we now put it as in, I put so much into marrying you? Can we now summarize it and say that is what sometimes the husband and the wife have the issues of domestic violence out of, I have paid so much, and there's high rates in divorce as well. Can we now say this also, you know, part of the things that really bring like a tornado,
is
a volcano,
is a contributing,
you know, that just
is a contributing factor, to be honest, because humans, we are wired differently. We don't react or respond to situations the same way. There's someone you might build over the roof. That person will still keep his composure. And being someone who have a different mindset to handling issues, we still have utmost respect for that woman. But there's someone else. That's why they are talking about, from the clip, they talk about making the woman a commodity. Because some men, the moment you request for outrageousness, they will pay. But the moment they pay and take your daughter away,
you dare not.
You don't have a say. Whatever they decide, they do. And I always tell ladies, if your situation is different, thank God for the man you married. There are so many that are not lucky. The moment a man pays such outrageous amounts as bride price, and you feel your parents will still come,
in fact, they'll give order. No father, they are not doing anything.
And just do anything, anyhow, talk to him, anyhow.
It does contribute to all those domestic violence, because the slightest thing, a man with a very short fuse, before the ladies say jack, he will throw slap somewhere. He will throw one backhand or one front hand somewhere.
And that's we'll go as far as saying, I'm not sending anything to your father again. They've collected everything they
like
want.
Yes.
So there are instances I've seen like that.
Exactly.
And they'll say, please, anything that concerns your family, they've collected it when I was paying bride price to you.
Exactly. And that's why I always advise people, I advise parents, marriage, to me, is a lifetime commitment. And being a lifetime commitment, you must also look beyond the traditional rights. You must think about the future. Think about, that's why they talked about relationship. It's a relationship that brings two families together. So it's even beyond the bride and the groom. Because the family, both families are connected forever. So you cannot afford to create a very toxic relationship in a lifelong journey. So parents must be careful. Like I said, parents must have a say. You must be able to influence whatever list they are giving. Bride price, to me, we are both from Cross River State. Bride price belongs to the parents.
It belongs to them.
It is not for kingsmen to sit and take a decision regarding the bride price of your daughter. So it doesn't make any sense to me when you hide under the umbrella, kingsmen, this, that. Take a decision for yourself and move on.
You know, I was actually coming to ask you what role should parents play, but you've said a bit of it. Now, this is it. I remember, like my community where I come from, there is something they call community list. Now, before the bride price, they have introduction list. That introduction list, like, I'm coming, I want to marry your daughter. They'll give you lists.
Yes.
Now, it's similar to what you're supposed to see in bride price. Drinks, you bring it. That's enough to even pay to do small traditional marriage. Then they'll not tell you, hold on for traditional marriage list. Now, that list to carry community lists. What the community, what they'll share in the community, they'll add it there. Then, like, if you're now from a separate family, maybe the man, they were divorced, and then your mother's people will bring their own list. Before your father's people will bring their own list. Then you now have aunties, cousins, you know, to the last. Everybody will have a share. Okay, first cousins, maybe a carton of malt. Second cousins. Now, inside the bride price, you will now see breastfeeding money. Yes, I'm telling you, from my community, you see breastfeeding money. You now see what the father will now buy for the father. You now buy the English attire and the traditional attire, which is normal in the normal. Now, what role? Because you just said something about bride prices for parents. They should have an influence in a situation like this, where even the whole community is looking up to have one month, and you know, because of the spiritual implication. most parents don't want, after that you hear until you say, oh, you did not give me, I did not drink, don't worry, I'm waiting for it. So maybe that's the reason why. Do you think it's one of the reasons why parents just, or you think they should just come in and play a role like, no. We have some parents that will say, no, this is what we want, and it stands. So what do you think?
It's both ways. Both factors are involved. Some, we are who we are as Africans and Nigerians. Let's restrict it to
Nigeria.
We are Nigerians, and we know how our tradition, culture. They talk about a lot of spirituality. Things that we may not want to talk on national TV or international TV, but we are who we are. So they'll tell you, if you don't do this, the moment they begin to point fingers at you, people begin to do different libation, pour drinks, the repercussion may be dire. So some parents will just decide, let's just go along with them. Let's just, to avoid any unnecessary issues. So by the time the kinsman comes with all sort of demand, they just transfer it to the groom, and I'll advise you to go ahead so that your marriage, your wedding, everything will go well. Some people have fertility issues as a result of things like that.
Yes,
I've heard all sorts of stories
I have
before.
too.
So people try to avoid so many things which they don't have control over. However, the parents can still be forceful. Even if you cannot achieve everything, you should be able to influence to a reasonable extent. I don't see any reason why kingsmen should bring lists and you cannot talk regarding certain things. Even though if you cannot say no, I don't want this, I'm eliminating this, due to the reasons which we've mentioned, at least the parents of the bride should be able to exert some level of influence because they gave birth to that child. So that's my position regarding that.
It's okay.
Okay, now I want to find out, even though it's a very tough question, can we now say that I believe in culture and tradition, and I know as a Yoruba girl, culture is very important, tradition is very important, but the extent is one we mentioned, breastfeeding.
Yes, so breastfeeding money.
We don't have that in Yoruba. They can ask you for 42 tubers of yam. They can ask you for eja osun. You know that eja osun is a special kind of fish. And you can't get it here. You have to go all the way to whether Badagry or Ebe to get very nice fish. But now, this is where I'm going. You know, when you look at the list, you said something about the father in Yoruba. Now, father go bring list too. Now, father's people, as far as I'm concerned, because that was how mine was done. You know, it's not to the mother's people to bring lists. Why not they bring lists? Say with it. The only thing is that after those lists is being delivered, they will share it. The father's side will take, the mother's side will take, and they can also give the bride. Okay, this is part of the things your family has well. This one, Kingsman, when they mentioned, they allow me who was there when the child was going to school. Now, can we scrap? Is it possible? You know, I know Africans, well, it's not, that's why I said the question is somehow. But is it possible that list is being, we can't say government should do this. Can't we narrow it down to just the parents?
That's the right.
Is it possible it's narrowed down just to the parents? They brought up their child. They know how much it costs them. Even if they are borrowed money to send out to school, they know how much they are borrowed. Why does it have to get to external, hands, families, to decide the fate of how your daughter or your son should get married? What do you think should be done?
Well, like you said, I feel it can be streamlined. By streamlining is narrowing it down, just like the way you said it. But the greed.
Greed.
That greed.
Now that word.
We never allow the status quo to change. Then we hold on to it They will front it. If it's possible, they'll wear it like a garment. That it is their tradition, and if you don't do it, there are implications. So I don't know how, but for the sake of the unmarried ones, I feel the revolution needs to start within, from the affected areas. I mean, the clip they talked about Imo, I think the research is kind of narrow because there's a popular belief that southeast is beyond that. I've seen lists from Akwa Ibom, which doesn't involve what you spend in the wedding for cooking and any other things, up to 10 million naira.
Akwa Ibom has
and you still do the white gown, you do the white bridal and all that.
Talking about
the venue, the cooking.
Those are not part of the list.
Akwa Ibom have list too. They will ask you for football. You bring football with whistle. If you bring goat, you bring with how do you call it? You bring knife, and they'll tell you the kind of knife. Yes. Then you bring sharpener to sharpen the knife.
And they are so specific with everything that they want.
Seriously,
you know, that's why I saw there's a bride price for father, there's a bride price for mother.
Breastfeeding money, all
and what I'm telling you is not like 10,000 naira. It could be in millions.
It could be depending on the family. If they are lenient, yes. If they are lenient.
So it's not child's play.
It's not that day anyway. Somebody told us if you want to be a parent, you have to ready. I think what's
be ready to parent.
Princely, if you want to be a parent, you must be ready to parent.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
So, but to be honest, I feel it should be streamlined. Something needs to be done about it. We must be realistic. At times I hear people that say, imagine that the list is like this because 10 years ago the economy wasn't as bad as it now. I said that is why the list should be reviewed. Because if you are knowledgeable enough and you accepted the fact that the economy 10 years ago was better than now, then you shouldn't give an outrageous list in 2024. I don't know, just to rub this in. Few weeks or months ago, there was something trending, information trending on social media of a young man from Bayelsa who wanted to marry someone from Imo State. He walked out of the marriage right there while they were doing the traditional rite in Imo.
I think I heard something
because
like
the
that.
guy said he was being extorted.
Yes.
That after they demanded 1.5 million, that they should cook with 1.5 million. They demanded this, they demanded that. Right there on the spot, they say bring 50,000. Right there, 100,000.
They'll come and meet you.
They said the guy walked.
He walked out of it. Yes.
Out of the marriage.
He said he wasn't doing it again.
And who suffers for it?
The lady.
And it becomes stigmatization on the lady.
Because knowing who we are as Nigerians and Africans, they'll tell you it's not good omen for a man to walk out
of your
right there.
marriage.
So people are going through a lot. That's why I said the revolution must start from those involved within. I've also seen a lady who, our own case, her parents, her dad is late, her uncles keep demanding, bringing out outrageous list.
Hey, Jesus.
The first one came, they brought the list of about 7 million. The guy said he saw it, said they would come back, never came back. Before she could say Jack, the guy was getting married to someone. The second one came, instead of reducing the list, they increased it. The same thing occurred, he left.
Stigma.
Got married to someone else, and she had. The third one came and they increased the list again. And the girl was crying. I went to visit someone and met her crying. What happened? And I asked the person was not explaining to me. I said that's wickedness as far as I'm concerned. Because our own parents
are late.
Is it not possible?
Anyway, I'll hold you on there. Oh my God. That's actually very interesting this morning because today's topic, my dear, people are suffering. We still have Lawrence here with us. Before we went on that break, although Larry was trying to say something when I had to cut her off. you know. And she was saying, I told her, if I'm the girl, I will just have scored.
It's as simple as that. It's really,
my parents are not alive. So why are you now doing this?
It's way out of what is expected, because you now see most of these ladies get married very late because they are not able to bring someone who is able financially take it upon themselves to follow the custom and the tradition they want to present to their family. They don't want to disappoint the family. They don't want to look as if they are neglecting. You know, ask something. And that was what I wanted to say. See, maybe we see most of our young girls, okay, who have found themselves or seen their senior ones go through this process, decide to live with whatever man they believe. I've had the first one, the second one, and we'll just go do the quiet or registry and carry on with life. But you said something.
You don't.
Why is that not possible?
No, you don't try that in some parts of the Nigeria. My place, you don't try it. In fact, you know, it's as bad as, you know, when you do that, for you, you're living your life. Do you know that there are some parts, some communities?
But you can always come back and pay
there are some
whatever it has.
communities in Akwa Ibom that you do that you can't survive during childbirth.
Yes.
Now, there are some communities that are so lenient between the Cross River Akwa Ibom region that if it takes you 20 years, if you like, let all your children graduate and you have 10 of them or 5, when you're coming back, each child represents one he-goat. So you have 5 children, they call it insults goats. For insulting your parents,
so
to have a
you
child.
to bring those egos yourself?
Yes.
Or they will collect the money?
No, they don't collect them. Some will monetize it. Some will tell you.
Yes. They can tell if they monetize it that you pay 50,000 naira for an e-goat, for instance. If you have 5 kids already,
that's
it means
250.
You are paying
250,000. They will multiply it to 500.
No. Just
and it will come with other things.
What about the other lists? Will it be reduced?
It's not reduced. That is when they even increase it.
That ego does not nullify.
They call it insult goats.
It's just that my own community, for instance, in Cross River State, we don't do that. Even if you marry, you didn't do the traditional rites. When it's time, if you want to do it, you come and you do the normal rites. No addition.
That's why I said in some communities.
No addition. And in my own community, I've not heard where bride price people take up to 20,000 or more than 20,000.
And it will be difficult for government to come and
it's not a government issue at all.
Now, Lawrence, I wanted to ask, do you think that bride price now is now business
as usual?
Or they are now, I won't even call it respect for culture. I don't want to think that. I think it's more of business. Do you think it's more of business than respect for culture? Because when you look at those days, bride price were paid, it was the list.
Yeah.
In fact, what sums up the list is even the other items you have to buy.
It will be the list of your.
But these days you will see that, and then they'll tell you that no, it's because I trained my child. My child is when she went to the best. So is it more of business than respect for culture?
Where people are getting it wrong. It seems more like business now, even though they still attach, try to play the cultural. With the cultural sentiment, but it seems more like business. That's why even from the claim, they said it's more like a transaction now. Because if you go to another dimension, I was about speaking on this, where parents feel I trained my girl child all the way, I think gave her the best education which I could provide, sent her, she went to the university, she's a graduate, she's working, she's an independent woman, so you are coming to take my daughter away. So what my compensation for?
And they start calculating all the school fees that
yes,
they
all
paid,
I paid. That is the height of ignorance. Because, like I said, is a lifelong journey, a lifelong relationship between both families. So your girl child should be a blessing to you when she brings a suitor who marries her, you've gained a son.
Yeah.
That's where people
Also to that family.
You understand? You gain a son into your family. Not just into your family, but your own household. Because your own immediate household comes first before your kinsmen and any extended family member. So you gain a son, and if you treat that son well, it means you don't just have your daughter taking care of you anymore.
You have your son.
You have your son to take care of you also. But if you create a toxic relationship or a toxic environment around your relationship with that person, that's why you made mention that some son-in-laws will say they've collected everything, so I don't owe them anything. Even though I'm in support of that, but like I said, humans, we are not wired to respond and react the same.
Yes.
But there are people that will definitely take things like that to heart, and it will affect their personal relationship with their in-laws.
What you just said now is really, really, I find it very seriously. And they said if you have not been to another person's farm, you'll be thinking your father's farm is the biggest.
Yeah.
This one, thank God, do. Thank God, do. So if they want to come now, they should come in 3 to come and take the girls. Thank God the boy has. Because waiting. I will beg. I will go to the holies of holies and just please go and look for a Yoruba girl. I know you love. Please, but come this way.
I kind of like Yoruba tradition because at least being a Cosmerian, I was born here. Live in Lagos all my life, at least.
And you did not hear my Yoruba.
They
hear you. Continue.
So the tradition is somehow very straightforward.
The return bride price. They'll tell you we are not selling.
I can collect your own bride price because you are both Yoruba. I can use your own for my daughter. Because that is Yoruba. I can only add 1 or 2 things. Maybe instead of $10, I can just do 5 or do 15. No be all these small millions.
So, and there are still places in Nigeria where some tradition they don't take more than 1,000 naira bride price. In this same country.
Imagine.
I'm aware of that. There are places in like some areas in Edo State, even the East that is so pronounced. There are places in Enugu where they don't collect up to 5,000 naira.
Can you
at bride price.
And there are some people that the groom will receive flogging as part of the bride price. They say they want to know the strength. They say they want to know the strength of the man.
This is my roundup question.
Okay.
What will be your advice to parents on this constant increase, hike in bride price? They are not helping the girls. I do see, I don't know whether they are from Cross River, I don't know, but I know they are from that side, not Yoruba, not from the West. You see, some of them get married very late, as in some close to 40, above 40. And you know, what you are saying now is just coming to my head. Because if you cannot get a man and you say you cannot do a runaway, even in Yoruba, many yes, they will run away with the man. It is after 1 or 2 kids. Maybe you don't want us to marry. We are still together. We have come to pay whatever. But this one that you are saying, you will not be pregnant, you will not have children. The children, something will happen to them. You know, it's like the spirit is working to destabilize the plan of the loved ones. The lovebirds. So what will be your advice? Really, it's really touching to me this morning. Allah, I wish I had that autonomy, that power, you know, to go into the Senate. I will start from Abuja. Please
look into this thing.
Shebi is out there, they are still fighting. Lagos has settled that. Is it possible we
look into it?
Our girls need to be married.
Like the issue of house rent, kudos to Lagos State. They need to step in regarding that. Even though by now I think we would have all been in trouble.
Thank God
for the 2 years.
Fashola did a lot regarding that. So But the government could intervene in that because it has to do with the living condition
civil,
of
the civil rights.
But when it comes to culture,
the
Senate president is from Akwa Ibom.
It's from Akwa Ibom.
What if he's
and
watching
there's nothing he can
if
do.
he's watching us,
Senator Akpabio.
if His Excellency Senator Akpabio, the Senate President, is watching us right now, he will not debunk what Joy and I have said. Because it's from Akwa Ibom. He's an Akwa Ibom man. He knows that's their tradition.
He knows.
So if anyone is coming for his daughter,
he knows,
then we'll go through that route.
Even people in the village, boys in the village.
Yes, they do.
They
do.
But I have a very strong feeling that there's this leverage they give to themselves.
Yes. When you're a part of them, when you're marrying their daughter,
high blood pressure.
But my advice, back to your question, my advice is simple. I think each time I have an opportunity, I always hammer on that. The parents need to have a say more. The parents must realize that it doesn't benefit them anyway if your daughter is of marriage age is still at home in your house or in our own house, even if she's an independent woman. Knowing who we are, our custom, our culture, tradition, we are not Europeans or Americans who just like when Destiny's Child or the Beyonce was saying independent woman, all those stuff, they can walk away from anything, decide to stay on their own. I don't need any man.
Not like that here.
Here, we are who we are.
Yeah.
And we must begin to do things based on our peculiarity. The economy is not smiling right now. So when a young man take the bold step, he takes that decision that he have seen a very pretty flower in your
like
household.
Flower.
As a father, allow him pluck that flower or that apple from that tree.
Conveniently.
I'm not saying you should throw away your tradition.
No.
But you can give people soft landing. Every tradition must have a face to it. You must have that human face to it, so that people can coexist and continue to live up to the values, the essence of the issue of bride price, which is to validate marriage and also build that cultural relationship between both parties. That's my advice.
Oh, thank you so very much. It's been a wonderful time discussing this with you.